We're on YouTube now, huh? What better way to start our YouTube journey than with a video about how new players start their World of Tanks console journey? Before you can enter the garage, they throw you into the tutorial mission. This being my first time recording something, I have to admit I did a terrible job. Not to get into the boring details, but basically my first whole play session, which includes this tutorial footage, has no game audio in it whatsoever. So enjoy my own sound effects. Anyhow, the tutorial gives the player an Era 3 tank against Era 1 tanks, making the player feel very powerful. But what does the tutorial ultimately help the player to learn? Well, just the bare minimum. How to drive, how to shoot, and how to cap. As I was making this video, Wargaming announced in their Discord about new player things. One of them we'll get to later in this video, but the other being more training missions. They mentioned wanting to teach players about armor, range, aiming, driving, and have begun work on these new training missions. I hope to make an update video on those in the future if needed. But currently without them, it leaves a lot out. I remember our mines tutorial mission in the Proving Grounds that told you about flanking the enemy to hit the weaker side and rear armors and moving into positions, and other things like spotting mechanics and bush mechanics. So it's good to hear that those seem to be coming for new players to learn, but it's disheartening to see that they're not here right now. Like, I not really much to this mission, and I did finish in under 4 minutes, but I did have a long start at the end, so really quick. You can end the mission by killing all the enemies as I do, but my bet is that most players will follow the markers and end up capping, thus then thinking the main objective of the game is to cap. Unfortunate, really. Once you get out of the tutorial, a little window pops up telling you to continue the fight, and that your M1A2 tank has been sent for maintenance, so they issued you additional tanks. And that's really it. You're in the game now, dropped into Cold War co-op. What's there for a new player to do? Well, since they throw the new players into Cold War, I decided to go play World War II instead. I know, not the real new player place anymore, but I didn't want to play Cold War. This prompt right here is where they tell the player the difference in spotting mechanics. No tutorials and none of that. Like I said, stuff sounds like it's coming later, but the only other time a new player might get knowledge about mechanics in World War II is the loading screen tooltips. However, with a next-gen console, they might not even be able to read those, as loading in is so quick that I didn't have any time to read any of them in my first playthrough. When scrolling through all the pages, they give you more pop-ups that help to explain things, some of them oddly showing weird images like this one that shows the E100 named as, I'm guessing, the T-55AM2 Chinese tank that is transferring a commander for 100,000 silver to the T110E5 that's also named wrong as, again, guessing here, an SV3VB Italian tank? I can't read the names even on my TV because the quality was so bad, but this did confuse me. I do have to mention though that I did get this footage before the latest UI update, so these screens right here could have changed, but strange nonetheless. They have basic ops for new players to complete for rewards such as getting kills, blocking damage, getting spotting assisted, tracking assisted damage, and other basics like that. I was happy to not see a cap op for it, and at the end of all the ops they give you a premium commander. They don't tell you about it beforehand, so I had saved up and spent 500,000 silver on a standard commander just to then earn the premium one. But there's one thing that I noticed during my games, and I was a little hesitant to call out, but was ultimately revealed by Wargaming themselves after people noticed massive low rolls in Cold War Era 1. That being new Player Rng. Now, I already think this game is more new player friendly than it was before. With the new commander system from 6.0 getting rid of tank mastery, that meant no longer were you playing with longer reloads, worse view range, slower traverse speeds and top speeds, but now the tank plays at the baseline stats that it should play at. Reusable consumables and the repair wheel being removed from the game made repairs to modules and crew much easier for newer players. It's one button press rather than holding and selecting what to repair on a wheel. Accuracy changes making it easier to hit, and a whole new game mode where you no longer have to rely on spotting to shoot enemies, to me meant an easier experience for new players. Wargaming thought it wise to give new players an advantage now. They take less damage from you, and have higher pen and damage rolls for their shells against you. This was addressed, and they lessened the damage reduction and later removed it entirely from PvP, followed by the damage increase. but it does seem that the pen chances are here to stay. Overall, I think this was a terrible idea to begin with, especially not telling players about it, but I do understand the reasoning for not wanting it to be exploited. They did mention they saw an increase in new player retention, but I wonder if that takes into account the other new feature that they added fairly recently, the Referral Program. If you think the two premiums that they give you in World War II, the little Panzer IIJ and the T-127, which oddly comes with equipment installed, and the 440 gold you end up with after completing the ops weren't enough, then here's where you can get more. For new players, the Referral Program gives them premium time, boosters, 850 more gold, which is enough to make their own clan, and a Panzer T-25 Tier 5 premium tank. I really think this program works, but maybe they could have given out a better tank for new players, like maybe an M4 improved, or hell, even a Churchill 3. The way the system works is that if you're a new or even returning player who hasn't played in more than 2 consecutive months, you are available to be recruited by a recruiter. Recruiters are veteran players who can recruit multiple players for the program, but a recruit can only be recruited by one player. Recruits progress by completing games whether it's with the recruiter or without, but recruiters must complete games with their recruits to progress. Veteran players also get neat rewards, a unique tank, the M10 RBFM, currently only available through this program, commanders, premium time, and tank skins for the T-5051 and the T-34. It also doesn't take long until a recruit becomes a recruiter. After getting my Panzer T-25, I could then recruit another player. I think besides the new Player Rng debacle, the new player experience isn't bad. Getting a free premium commander and through the referral program additional rewards is a nice start for new players. I would like to see those more in-depth tutorials, but they are coming. I'll put a link to the referral program down below for any of those that are interested, and with that ends my first video. Let me know if there was anything you think I missed, or if there's any improvements I could have made to the video. I'll be waiting in the comments for your feedback, and with that, take care.